Hello and welcome back once again. So we've had a few questions lately about building moulds or plugs for boats and how you go about doing that. So we are stood inside a mould that has been temporarily made for a swiftcat 11 metre. The whole structure is made out of melamine, melamine, whatever you want to call it there. So this is a veneered faced MDF board, so it gives very low surface resistance, very shiny, to create the finish that you're going to want. So there's two ways of doing this. You can either make a mould or a plug. So this is a mould, as in it's the externals, and the interior will be the wheelhouse and will be the exterior of the wheelhouse. So it's the same as what you're doing building a GRP mould. Okay, but you can custom make this. If you're building a new prototype, then you can play around with it, you can change it without having to go through the full investment of building and paying for the whole process. So this was designed on CAD software and then it's been constructed after that. So we've got the walls and the roof is what I'm stood on now, so this is upside down and inside out at the same time, which has always been a difficult thing for people to get their heads around. So with this mylar sheeting, you do not need to wax this. We probably advise it for this case because we've been in it and it's been walked on and it's been sort of thrown around, so to speak, then it probably is worth waxing it and giving it a pre-release agent to make sure it's definitely going to come out of this mould. Because the last thing you want to do is spend all this time building this for it not to come out, or for it to bind, or for it to damage. So you have to be prepared when building a melamine mould that the mould may be destroyed in the process of getting the product out. Sometimes it isn't, but you can go around and disassemble the whole thing around the component and then rebuild it again to use next time. With this type of product, it is a one-off and it's very complicated, so the likelihood is it won't be built again. But say if you were constructing a small seat box, then you could take that apart, put it back together, and just keep producing components out of the mould. So it's a relatively large wheelhouse, like I say, it's going on a swiftcat built by Chris Dawson, and it's being fit out over here at Breaksea Boats at the minute, which is where I am currently helping out with some of the builds around this way. So your imagination is the only limit from this point of view, and there are some things to consider. When building melamine mould, you've got a lot more freedom because you can take pieces apart and remove it. Now, if you've ever worked with moulds, you'll know that it has to have a negative angle to be able to pull out of that mould. Whereas with this, you can just take the parts apart and pull them away, and then as long as they can get them out of the sides or whatever angle you need to remove them from, you can still end up with the exact product you'd like. So when it comes to thickness or thickness of material, there are a few things that you can work with. So for large surfaces or things that you're looking to keep rigid, I would probably suggest 12 to 15 mil MDF. If you're looking to get convex curves like this, you can go down to around 10, or if you're looking for really complicated shapes or very curvaceous shapes, then you can go down as low as 6. But just bear in mind that the thinner you go, the less natural the curve's going to be as well, and therefore you're not going to get that nice clean curve or shape that you're going to be pulling out. So there are some bits in here as well. I mean, you can use anything that's sort of got a veneer finish on it, whether it's veneered ply, whether it's a kitchen worktop, whether it's melamine MDF, whether it's just anything with a very low surface traction that you're going to be able to use and mould off. I mean, there have been many things that we've used over the years, which even goes down to shapes of milk bottles or buckets that have been waxed to create shapes that you want. So, as I say, there's really no limit to your capabilities of what you can produce with this. So all the screw holes that have been put through here, so stiffening under the floor, have been filled, so they'll all need to be knocked down. And then all the corners will need to be radiused. So you can buy stainless steel radius tools and some plasticine to radius these corners with a varied sized ball on the end. Now, to get these very large radiuses, which we're going to end up in these corners here and end up around the front, is they've actually purchased a very large anal ball, a stainless steel anal ball from eBay, taken it off and then welded it onto a rod to create the radius on there. Because if you're buying a standard product, there's usually only 3 sizes which go up to about 10, well, half an inch, quarter of an inch radius. But if you're looking for something bigger, then it isn't a factory item, so the easiest way to find something like that is look on sex shops, because they have lots of stainless steel things, because the last thing you want is a ball rusting up inside you. So it's very high quality surgical stainless, and therefore you're going to end up with some really nice radiuses, nice sweeping radiuses. It's not only is it stronger, but you get a not much cleaner look as well, because the last thing you want on a component of this size is really tight little radiuses. So they've spent about 4 days or so building this so far, so we'll see how it progresses, and then no doubt I'm going to have to build this over the next couple of weeks.